Hello and welcome
Hey.
to this brand new Amplitude stream. Today we're going to be talking about Endless Space 2. I am Forscriden, your friendly neighborhood community manager, and I have with me today Shell. Do you want to introduce yourself for the people in the back?
Yeah, sure. I'm Shell. My true name is Thomas, and I've been working as a game designer on Endless Space 2 for the last 2.5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Right. So we're live on Twitch and YouTube. Just let us know if there's anything wrong with the sound. In which case we'll just say we're sorry. We're doing our best. So, but yeah, it's good to see that we're already live. Thanks to you guys for tuning in fairly short notice. So yeah, we actually have quite a bit of stuff to talk about today. It sounds like we're shipping an expansion.
Yeah, sort of. Small
Right.
things.
So yes, as some of you may have seen, the Nakalim introduction video is already live. It's quite cool. We're going to be showing it in a moment, but first I thought that we could be showing, we're talking a bit about the balance patch that went out a few weeks ago. The reason that we did this separately was because usually we have a big patch that goes out at the same time as an expansion. But this time around, it was to give us some time for feedback from the community, which we did over the course of the summer, and also because we're going to be very very busy announcing a game, which we did at Gamescom. If you haven't, do check out our blog, or just Google Humankind Amplitude and find out the good news, I guess. So yeah, do tell us a little bit about this balance patch. What's in it?
Okay, so the main goal of that balance patch was pretty much to try to solve a lot of issues that have been brought up by the community for a while now. So there were a few issues with the influence, with the production of dust. There were some factions that had become a bit too strong due to, new expansion pretty much messing up the meta, I guess we can call it that. So yeah, the goal of that balance patch was to flatten the whole damn thing and try to keep going a bit better. So we retouched, as I was saying, the economy of dust, the economy of influence. We touched up on the he-shows, which were very strong. So now they are a bit weaker, and I know that some of our players don't really like it, but we are already seeing people on the forums that are doing insane things with it. So
I mean, I've always been like a Hisho player, especially in Endless Space 1, they were my very favorite. And then the ceremony changed the balance, and then they were not my favorite anymore. So, when it came to Endless Space 2, I was really, really worried about the treatment they would get. And I was very happy that they were actually OP as all hell in two different ways. So, I can understand the sentiment when it comes to saying, okay, now, this is the way they should be powerful. This other way that they're actually powerful is something we need to curb. So yeah, I'm kind of sad about it too, because that was very very fun. But yeah, I get it.
I mean, it was very fun for you, but not so much for the guy in front of you. So that's
I don't
why.
care about those.
Well, we do. So yeah, we fixed a few things with them. We made K a bit harder to manage, so you have a bit more reason to spend it. We've made it so that they couldn't expand as much as they used to. So, they are more in line with the power scale of the other factions. So that's always good.
What's the next thing?
Okay, so we also retouched a lot of combat module. We had some trouble with fights that wouldn't last as long as we wanted them to. So we rebalanced a lot of the defense module, a lot of the attack modules too. And also we rebalanced one of our player favorites, which was the fleet accelerator.
The taxi fleets.
Yeah, so the taxi fleet are finally gone. They are dead. May they rest in peace. So
Yes. So for those of you, wondering what this is, the sudden bright light. Well, this is the Nekalim awakening. Actually, I know we just forgot to turn on the lights, and then we realized that the light shining on the camera comes coming from outside. So we're trying to correct this. So hopefully this is better. You have a better shine on my dome. Right. Anyway, you were telling us about the taxi fleets.
So yeah, so the fleet accelerators are now only available on heroes ships. So you won't be able to put them on support ships, you won't be able to put them on attack ships. The only one that can have them are the heroes. So they have been nerfed quite a lot, but they now are fulfilling the function they were made for, which was to give you a slight overall boost of movement on your whole fleet. They are not that very, very much mandatory kind of strategy that you would have to apply whenever you try to play multiplayer, for instance.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That was kind of a. The sad thing was that you eventually, it was not an option you had. It was a thing you had to do, and because of that, it just was no fun.
Yeah.
But you can still have heroes that have those accelerator modules or heroes that don't. I guess that's choice enough for you.
That's part of it.
Okay.
So we retouched that.
I'm just realizing we're super blue in this image.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, your pants, your shirt and my pants. Anyway, carry on.
Smurf-like.
Endless space blue.
I mean, as long as we don't get a blue screen.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, I had enough of technical issues last time I went on stream, so I'm fine with this.
Come here for the game, stay for the puns.
Okay,
anyway,
so the next major thing we retouched also were the obliterators. Supremacy has been, I think I can say, a somewhat divisive expansion. A lot of people loved the he shows, but some others were not that happy about the obliterators because it kind of felt like they were hogging the late game, and if you hadn't produced a few obliterators by the end of the game, you were pretty much screwed. So what we made is that we made it much harder to spam obliterators shots, so it cost a lot more, it cost influence. Everybody hates you whenever you hate them.
Nice.
Even the warmongering faction, because do tell the craver guy who's managing the number for the population, who is just looking at a whole fridge of people disappearing, and you're just like, no, my food.
Exactly.
So,
and people hate that. Like when fridge disappears in the Amplitude fridge, when food disappears in the Amplitude fridge, it's civil war.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the moment where we stop working for a week. Okay. So, I had a last one I wanted to talk about a bit also.
What is it?
So I said we had rebalanced influence and dust. So for dust, mostly what we changed was the inflation formula. So we made it so that it is a bit more efficient in the way it was meant to be. So it's going to help peaceful faction get in the way of warmongering ones.
Okay.
So that one has been going pretty smooth for right now. And then there is the influence. Influence has been, the kind of resources you wouldn't have to actively manage for a while now. You could produce a lot of it very easily and very quickly. So what we did is that we created new things for it. So for instance, now whenever you want to pass a law, you have a flat cost of influence that you are going to have to pay.
Can you briefly, for the less maybe well-versed users, explain what a sync is?
Yeah, sure. Basically, a sync is just an action that is going to cost you the resource. So we just made it so right now that whenever you pass a law, you have to pay a flat amount of influence to do so.
Okay.
So we created that, and we also put some upkeep cost on the treaties, on science and commercial treaties with other factions. So now you have also an upkeep of influence to pay on this.
Okay. Was that it?
And that is it.
All right. Are we moving on to the big piece of this train then? I'm guessing we are gonna be pushing the video live, and then we're gonna be seeing you guys in 2 minutes. Let's do this. All right.
look out and see the glory and power of the Nakalim Empire. Our trade routes bring the wealth of worlds to our doorstep. And our military maintains the peace. Now, the messengers of our gods awaken my people from their sleep, calling upon our strength. Prophecy said our time would come. I say, muster the fleets, for that time is now.
Right, so we're back. What do you think of this one, actually?
Well, I'm pretty excited about it, but I'm a bit biased.
I mean, I'm getting a strong, very strong Egyptian vibe. Like, you feel like it was a prophecy that they would be awakened, but maybe the like Isiander and the Kinetic Moldor, and actually don't know the name of the Lumerus hero, but like maybe they're awakening a curse or something.
Not really a curse. Well, it depends on the side you are on.
Okay.
But
Well, anyway, no spoilers on the story. Although we will talk about the story in just a little bit.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that we've had the question: why is Kinetic Moldor with Isiander in this cutscene? And the answer is, it was before. It was before the game's opening trailer. So, because things can happen in a non-linear fashion when you're just using flashbacks. So yeah,
Yep.
that was then. Right, so let's we've got some art to show. Like, we're not going to show you gameplay this week. We're going to be showing you next week with Kat, who's here, and as usual,
Twice, actually.
twice.
In English, same time as always.
Uh-huh.
And at 8 p.m. local time.
So
in
English,
German.
same time as always, and in German time at 8 p.m. Next week with, I'm guessing with Riding Bull. Oh,
exactly.
all right, because that's apparently a thing we do now.
I mean, if he's eager to help out.
Crossing finger, no one's asking me to stream in French. But yeah, for now. Anyway, moving on to the Nakalim themselves, and I guess we're actually not even going to start with them. We're going to start with the Academy.
Yep.
So yeah, do tell us about the Academy. There's a whole new feature that is centered around what was internally known as Academy diplomacy, which was something we've been wanting to do for a very long time and have not been able to, and finally getting around to. So
it's finally there.
yeah, it's finally there.
The Academy diplomacy has been, on the back burner for like nearly 2 years now. So we're very happy to be able to have done it finally. So finally the Academy is not just that small curiosity on whatever system Harrow ends up in, it's its own empire. So the Academy now is a faction that's in between, the pirates and a major faction. It has its own system, it can expand, it has its own fleets, and well, it has its own leader, Isander, which can be someone difficult to deal with because, as you will...
Because he's got no face, you never know when he's smiling.
Yeah, also. But you see when he's kind of happy. We'll see that right next. So yes, basically what you can do in the Academy diplomacy is that regularly Isander is going to come and ask you for some contribution for whatever big plan he has behind his head. So in this case he's asking for dust, but he can ask for other resources. You will get a notification from the Academy saying, I'm starting a new round of requests, I need this kind of resources, please do contribute. So you will have the ability to do so, and then depending on how much you gave and on how much the other player gave, you might get some sort of rewards. So rewards which are roles within the academy. So
the things you see at the
yeah,
top.
the 4 things you see at the top.
And actually, I think one of them is bound to change. In those screenshots, it says...
Yeah, it's the Grand Admiral, which
you guys voted to name Spear of Isildur?
Yeah.
I believe, yeah. So
That's
that's
absolutely
your choice. The choice is on you. So if you like the name, cool. You go, guys. If you don't, well, that's your problem. You should have voted for something else. Yeah, we have some questions about people just joining in. If you've missed the trailer for the new Nakalim faction, we'll be showing it at the end. So don't worry about it. You'll be able to see it shortly.
Once again.
Yeah.
Okay, so before speaking about those roles, we kind of have to speak about Moody Isildur for a minute. Because, well, Isildur has his own empire right now, which means that you cannot...
Things are looking up for him.
Yeah, it's a big step up in his life, so don't mess that for him. But since he has an empire and he has fleet, he can now be attacked. So he can become very mad with you because he's like, why are you doing this to me? So if you are trying to mess with him during a request phase, he might say, okay, you know what, whatever amount of resources you gave me up until now, I'm not counting anymore. And if you don't pay me some amount of dust, I won't even consider you for a role. So you have that kind of game where you can provoke him, you can try to take control.
It's the wall reparations we see on the screen then.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, you have to pay attention to the fact that you can pretty much owe him money just as a bribe.
Because now, as you were mentioning, one of the reasons you might want to go against him is that he also owns territory.
Yeah, and he will actively try to expand. So you might have to fight him to get some new systems for yourself.
Can you tell us if he's pursuing victory conditions or if he's expanding as fast as other empires?
No, he is not going to pursue his own victory condition. His goal is just to be somewhat of a major player on the universe. But however, he will still try to expand as much as he can, and he has a few tricks in his sleeve so that he can expand fast at the beginning of the game.
All right. We're having a question that is being asked quite a bit, and that is, how does this relate with the Academy quest as it currently exists in the game?
Loosely. Basically, this system will stay active up until one of the very late game quests. I don't know if you see which one I'm speaking about. Basically, at the very end, I mean, those of you that have already finished it will get what I'm speaking about.
No spoilers.
You got some
Think
big...
about the children.
Yeah, you've got some big great events, and for logistic reasons, at that point, request will be shut down. Isildur is like, I'm busy with stuff right now.
Things are happening.
Yeah.
For both sides, right?
Yeah, for both sides. So that's your main impact on from the Academy diplomacy to the quest.
And also, it turns out that now, since you can attack his gender, you can also remove him from the equation.
You can remove Isildur from the equation, but not the Academy. The Academy will survive him.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I really hope that the VIPs who've been badgering us ever since were like, oh, we think there's this cool system. You guys might really like it. And I know that Kat here, for instance, the first time we mentioned the Academy diplomacy, well, he was still a VIP by then. So I hope he's happy, now that he's on the other side of the mirror. Right. So let's move on. What can we talk about next? The Nakalim, I guess. Was there some other stuff?
Yeah. Before this, we'll just take a few moments to talk about each one of those 4 roles that the Academy can grant you. Starting with the Librarian, which is kind of the weakest one, because it's just a role where you can go to Isildur and ask him questions. Some of those are questions that are, gameplay related, such as, okay, which empire right now has the strongest economy, which wonders are currently being built in the galaxy. So things that can be truly important. And then you have also very important lore question, such as, is Horatio perfect?
Are you wearing underwear?
I don't know if that one
that's not a question
made it
again.
in, but but you can also ask, for those of you who are curious about it, you can also ask a few lore questions to him. Finally get some insurance.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we all know that knowledge is power, power is money, money is pizza, so... Right, so next role.
Yeah, so next role. This one is the Master of Dust. So since the Academy has its own diplomacy and it has its own empire, it also has its own economy. So when you are the Master of Dust, you get pretty much pocket money from Isander, who's telling you, okay, from now on, whenever you want to negotiate treaties with somebody else, you can use part of my cash. There you go. You have.
That's good. That's an allowance from, you know, Daddy's Yonder.
That's pretty much it. It's like, you know what? Take 10k dust and then come back when you have spent them.
Okay.
You know, so pretty interesting role too. Then you have the Vault Keeper. So this one is one of the two strongest roles the Academy can give you. The Vault Keeper has access to all of the law of another party than the one that's currently in power in their empire right now. So if you currently have the Science faction, you could become the Vault Keeper and decide that you also want, through the Vault Keeper, to have access to all of the military laws. The only one you won't have access to, however, is the super law.
The final one.
Yeah, the final one. That one...
The automatic one is the super law.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
The automatic law. So that one you won't be able to have because, well, it would be a bit overpowered. So that one you don't have. But as you can see on the screen right now, that's a situation in which the Vault Keeper picked up the Science Party option, and so you can see the 4 Science law are there.
As people are saying in the chat, this is strong AF. Yes, it is.
It is. It is very, very strong, but maybe not as strong as the last one. Which is the one
What is it?
I guess most people are going to fight for, and that is the Spear of Isander. The Academy has its own fleet, and most notably it has 2 central ones. It has one attack fleet and one defense fleet, in addition to a lot of smaller ones. The Spear of Isander gets to control the attack fleet of Isander. So what this means is that you're gonna get a very, very strong fleet that does not cost any upkeep to you whenever you get that roll.
How strong are we talking?
I'm talking around 24 CP at turn 50 on fast.
Jesus Christ.
As you can see in the screenshot, they have a carrier, and that's like turn 30.
Yeah, but as people cannot see from, you know, our screen is like a 40-inch TV, but it's like 3 meters away from us. And half the TV is the chats, and the other half is, you know, the OBS controls.
The people who enjoy full screen.
Exactly. Right. So yeah, we can see it on like a quarter of the screen is what you guys are actually seeing. So yeah, I can't read from there. It's way too small. Anyway, it sounds super duper strong.
Yeah, it's really, really strong. Occasionally, it might not be what you want, but you know, I expect most people to fight for that one. Also, I just saw a question pass through, so I'll just answer that one.
Sure. Can you please say what the question is?
Someone was asking if you could hack the Academy now that it is an empire, and yes, you can, and you will have special hacking outcome whenever you try to hack them.
Okay. Well, that sounds great.
Feature.
Yes.
One last, sorry, it's a bit far, so, oh yeah, right. Also, whenever you take a role, even if you're not the Grand Admiral, Isander will be willing to loan you a very good ship, which is different depending on the role. And the ship in question is gonna get its own special name. So that's what you see on the screen right now. You've got the technical details.
And there was also a vote from the community as well for the name.
Yeah. So you have on the side, you have the technical details about the ship, and then at the bottom of the technical details, you have two buttons, one that picks up where you want the ship to appear, and right next to it, you have the button to pay for it. This one is going to cost you some upkeep in addition to the loaning fee.
Yeah, but as you can clearly see from its stats, it looks super powerful.
Yeah.
We can clearly not read the stats from here, but I remember seeing that screenshot, and the stats were like a very big, very high numbers. So.
It's a carrier ship, so.
And you can get it from turn. So when is the first time Zinder asks for favors?
On normal speed, you can expect it to ask for favors around turn 25 to 30.
And so on fast, it's what, 17? 15?
Around 15. Around 15, the request is going to start and it's going to finish around 10 turns later. So around turn 25, you can find yourself with a carrier.
Turn 25 here, that sounds really good. Right. Okay, we have a bunch of questions. Well, we actually have some time set aside for the Q&A at the end of the stream. So if you have a question right now, well, you can ask it now. But make sure that you keep it somewhere for the end so that we may address all your questions at once. I think we've covered the Academy pretty much. Let's move on to the Plat de Résistance, the Nekalem.
The Nekalem, finally.
All right, so when do we start with them? Ships and Heroes is what it says, but I guess a little bit of a backstory maybe?
Yeah, we might as well start with that. Okay, so the main gist of it is that the Nekalem is a very ancient faction that pretty much goes back to the time of the Lost and the Endless. And what they did is that they piggybacked the Lost a lot. They were kind of a smaller empire that followed them in their footsteps, and they became very big because of that. But at some point, the Lost disappeared, and the empire started to crumble, and this very great and big faction started to lose terrain. So what they decided to do was to put themselves in stasis and wait for the apostle of their lords, gods, to someday come back to wake them up.
The prophecy.
Yeah, the prophecy. So that's what they did. However, when they wake up, they find themselves with a small and tiny problem, and that is that they piggybacked so much the Lost back in the day that they never really learned to develop their own science. So they have a lot of advantages in technologies, as we're going to see in a bit, but they also have a few issues with it.
Okay, so yeah, I see that a lot of people are saying, oh, I mean, I'm guessing some people have already been reading the blog post. I'm guessing it is live on the features.
That one was live yesterday already.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, yeah, no, not the one that we were having today. There. Fair enough. Yeah, so a lot of those, those features are really trying to give off the vibe that you're playing like a powerful player, but that also has to use their current power to make sure that they kind of build up well enough to stay in the game in the late game. Otherwise, you're going to be overwhelmed. So
you're going to partially feel like you have a head start, but you're also going to feel the pressure of everybody else in your back who's trying to catch up and could very easily if you're not careful.
So some people were talking about science production, for instance. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this in gameplay terms?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that the Nekalem have as an advantage is that they start with most of the technologies from the two first era unlocked on the tech tree. So they start with a very strong head start on that aspect. However, their populations are not going to be able to produce any science, and on systems, science production is going to be halved because they really, really suck at science.
Really not good.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're used to having the answers handed out to you, it's kind of difficult to think for yourself.
Sure. So the way they have to compensate for that is that science production for them is linked to a special resource, which are relics. So relics are a smaller item. You can see one of its visual representation.
That's the vertical thing.
The vertical thingy with the weird letters around it. Relics are special items that are spread in the galaxy, and you can send ship to pick them up. every time you pick up a relic, your science production is gonna increase from a flat amount. So that's the main use you're gonna get from relics, but they also have a few other uses. So for instance, one of the way you can use them is that you can unlock special skills for heroes that the Nephilim have hired. So not only Nephilim's heroes, but all of their heroes they hire.
So the thing we're seeing on the right-hand side here.
Yep, right there. Those skills are sequential. You need to unlock the first one to be able to unlock the second one, but they are quite strong. So
what do they do?
They increase your influence and science production on one side, and they also increase your ability to explore and fight with your ships on the other. So they're pretty good. You can also use those relics to boost the feeds production of your systems, but it is something a bit smaller.
Okay. What next? Let's move on to, I'm guessing, more of a visual aspect, maybe?
No, we can...
We can go to the visual aspect and then go back.
All right. Well, I just wanted really to talk about the ships, maybe. I mean, let's talk about and maybe show them. So yeah, you could see them in the intro video. I'm not sure how many screenshots we have of the fleet. Is that the one?
That's the one of the whole fleet, and then
we have the individual. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, as you can see, they're very, very different from the other ones. I mean, what do you think of the elements? You've played with those the most, I guess.
I think visually they are very intricate. I think they feel pretty much. They reflect very well the faction they come through, and actually maybe they are the best reflection of the former glory of the Nephilim. You look at their hero; they kind of look. They have issues.
Yeah, I mean, they've seen better days.
They've seen better days, but their ships, those they kept in a very good state.
They're pristine, you know.
Yeah.
In the blue book, this thing is just mint condition.
Gameplay-wise, their fleets are also pretty good. They have ships that are pretty good. They are a faction that are made for good exploration because they have to look for those relics very fast. And they're not the most flexible, but they are decent whenever you want to try to focus attacks on or defense. So they will be fine in both cases.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that one of them clearly looks like a sewing machine. The one in the top right, in the screen. Yeah. It just reminds me of my mom's sewing machine. I think it's amazing.
Now that you say that, the one behind it looks like an iron.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, there was a thread that was going around Twitter like a couple of years back that was about artists finding, cool designs for spaceships in everyday items, and someone was remarking that one of the Cravers ship really looked like a stapler. And I'm thinking this is all sorts of inspiration. There's wonders all around us. But thankfully, that makes for extraordinary ships. I do not know what the big ones are, but I'm really eager to find out.
Yeah.
So let's move on to their heroes. Maybe we can show some of them. I've seen some screenshots of the heroes. So yeah, basically, they've been in stasis for millennia probably, and their leader she's the queen. It's a kingdom, right?
Yeah.
She's in pristine condition, but all of them have been like subpar system, and they look kind of dry skin maybe.
A lot of them didn't really took well to the stasis time.
Like that guy clearly had like a humidity problem in his stasis cocoon or something.
I mean, poor guy. There is a necromonger feel to them. For those
that's true.
Yeah, for those of you who remember that movie. So yeah, a lot of their heroes kind of feel decayed. They feel like they've seen better day. But there is also a few different heroes because as the Nephilim became, they, as I was saying earlier, they crumbled. So when they tried to become a bigger empire again, they kind of had to recruit from the outside world. So the Nephilim also they are actually the faction that has the only faction that has two starting heroes that are from minor factions, just because there's not enough of them.
Actually, this one had the bio that you guys voted on as well. I believe this is the Remnant hero.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They voted on which faction he's from as well.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
you actually also selected that he was a remnant. So yes, that's a remnant, by the way, which is why he's a very tall lad and not a slumping goal. Right, so let's move on to the next bit. What do we want to talk about now? We've got faction quest, maybe. Do you want to talk about this a bit?
Maybe just before, since Kat has been going back on that screenshot for a while.
Okay, let's cover this.
Okay, so
the temples, yes.
yeah.
Good one.
So as some of you might already have picked up, the Nephilim have a special relationship with Isander and the Academy. So one of the things they do is that they can create a Temple of the Lost, which is a planetary specialization on one of their planets.
Mm-hmm.
And what this is going to do is that it's pretty much going to make the planet into a monastery. Monastery. There you go. So people are not going to produce food, dust, or industry in it. They weren't producing science anyway, but they won't produce that one anymore also. But they are going to produce a lot of science. They are going to be able to expand the control zone around the system a lot faster. And if that zone finally goes over somebody else's system, they are going to be able to convert it for the Academy. So not for themselves. They're just going to be able...
Directly goes to the Academy.
Yeah, it directly goes to the Academy.
It doesn't pass through Go, does not collect $100.
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
So it directly goes to the Academy. So Isander is, of course, going to be very grateful for that. So he's going to reward the Nephilim player with relics, part of the science, influence, and thus prediction of the system that he has been gifted.
Mm-hmm.
And if the system was gifted during a request state, it's going to count as a contribution.
Significant one, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Very good.
So you've got a strong relationship there.
I mean, so then, we maybe have to warn players that then if they see a huge Academy empire, it might be that there is a Nephilim just,
Yeah,
giving planets left and right to them. It's not the Academy going crazy. It's not a bug. It's a feature.
So yeah.
Also worth mentioning, they count for Conquest victory.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
they count for Conquest victory.
They do
Is what
still
that's
count for
saying.
Conquest victory.
We should get you a microphone from back there,
We used to have 3. I'm
Right.
not sure where the third one went.
Those things just evaporate all the time. It's so crazy. Right, so do they have an advantage for the Academy quest, someone's asking?
No.
No.
They don't have a special one.
All right. So what else? What else have we not talked about? I think we've pretty much covered it because we're going to be showing you gameplay next week when Kat plays in both English and then a couple hours later in German. So we're going to keep that under wrap for now. Did you want to talk about the pop bonuses maybe? Besides not generating any science, what do they do?
No, for now on, let's just keep that for next week.
Okay, all right. Well, do we have anything to show about the minor faction, the Xermisala?
Yeah.
So yeah, those dudes.
Those dudes.
Friendly guys can only sleep on their bellies because there was no way you can sleep on your back with this.
Yeah, or they are sleeping upward. I don't know, upright.
Up? Oh.
It's because yeah.
Anyway, what about them?
Well, they are the new minor faction, which you actually voted for. So
Space Goats.
Space Goats, finally there with their new hero, who is working also for the Academy. So there they are. Not much to say about them, except that they look good.
Yeah, looking good. Exactly. I mean, sometimes you just want to make up some words as you show some cool art.
But
right.
yeah, Space Goats are there.
Okay. Right. Well, let's circle back to a cool key art, I guess, or and then maybe do some Q&A, or we can cycle through the artwork and the screenshots we have while people ask us questions, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do that. If you guys have been holding on to your questions, now's a good time. So again, if we're on Twitch and YouTube, I'm not sure if we're live on Steam. I'm not sure if that's working right now, so no. So a good thing is that you can just reach out to the Twitch chat and ask us your questions. mostly your question is about the expansion itself, because as with anything regarding balance, we've just put out a patch. I'm thinking we're not probably be putting another one out for some time if that happens. Well, unique planets can get some love, like in ES1. We actually did release something about unique planets not too long ago, I think. Looking at you guys for confirmation.
Yeah, no, sure, we did.
It was between Supremacy and Penumbra.
Yeah, exactly.
Celestial Worlds.
Celestial Worlds, exactly. I remember the name. So we did do something about unique planets. There were some new ones as well. Will the Lost have direct role in the new expansion?
No.
I mean, yeah, that depends how direct you want it to be. It's more, they've never had a direct role in anything. It's always like, pulling the strings. Like,
yeah, in this case, they are not. They are indirectly there. The Nakalim are pretty much their representatives, so it depends on how much you play with them, I guess.
Okay. Can we play all factions plus one custom faction on one map? Hold on. With this one, that's how many factions?
With this one, it's 12.
Just
so
12.
There's no more room
Yeah,
for
there's.
custom.
I'm sorry. You're gonna have to take the one you want to see the least and kick those out to make room for your custom faction. But you could base your custom faction on the one faction you're gonna kick out, so that in some way you still have their visuals. Did Isiander have some special relationship with the Vodiani? Well, you could say that. It certainly is a special relationship they have.
Yeah, they sure do. It's mostly the other side. Isiander and the Academy, they are smart enough to know that they cannot completely snub a whole damn empire in the galaxy, so they are fine with it. So it's more up to the Vodiani player to know if he wants to, stay in his good grace or not.
Mm-hmm. Do the Nakalim find artifacts separate from normal curiosities?
Yeah, artifacts are not curiosities. They are the ship that is going to recall them actually uses another fleet action, so they are completely unrelated.
Okay. Someone's asking whether they're starting with a behemoth deck, but that's a deck from another expansion, so it's not comprised in the decks that are unlocked.
I think actually it is.
Is it? Oh, wow.
Let me go back to the screenshot.
Let's see. The screenshot has them.
Yep, here.
Right. Well, it was too tiny for me to see, of course. Well, I stand corrected. Right. Well, sadly, I have to tell you guys that we're the questions are written fairly big so that we can actually read them. So they tend to scroll up pretty fast. So if we miss your question, feel free to repost it in a couple of minutes so that we have a chance to answer it. So has the Academy quest changed? Has not, that I know of.
No. Will the science buff from Relics scale or stay the same? The science buff from Relics are a flat amount, so it's not gonna scale. And I'm gonna jump on another question that's right after it. If I use an artifact on a hero, does it still give me science? No, it doesn't, but you can take the relic back at some point if you find yourself in a situation where you need more science and you don't know where to find it else.
So someone's asking whether the quests involved in the Academy for other factions are going to be changed, and the answer to that is no either.
Yep.
And someone's suggesting that you could go white Vodiani and actually reconcile with the Academy, which is also an option for the Academy quest line.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the crux of the storyline for the Vodiani. So it really depends on how you want to play them. But yes, although I would say that canonically, Isiander and Isiara are not really on speaking terms. But that's at least at the start.
It's just a minor family quabble.
Yeah, it's just a minor family quabble, and they happen to be two of the most powerful beings in the universe. As you do. Gifting systems to the Academy, does that mean we can trade fully colonized systems between empires without winning or losing a war? I believe that is not the case. It's just for the Academy.
Yeah.
And very specifically, it's a form of peaceful conversion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are not mad at you, hopefully. But if it's a player, they're probably mad at you anyway. Someone's asking about the links between the Nakalims and humans, because they look really closely like
since they're humanoid too. as
Do you
far-
know? Yeah, that's more of a Jeff question, and
Yeah.
sadly he's in the U.S. currently on vacation.
Where are you?
I mean, you know, we've really worked him really hard because he was at Gamescom, and then next weekend he was at PAX. So you know, there's been quite a bit of jet lag for poor old Jeff. So he's now resting, and he'll be back with us in a few weeks. But feel free to actually ask this question on the forums, and we'll make sure to forward it to him because tormenting Jeff with lore is one of the few pleasures we have. That sounded a bit tired, you know. Now he likes those questions. So yeah, make sure you ask them. You ask him on the forums.
Yeah.
Gamescom was bomb, guys. Well, I mean, were you there? Did we see you at the B2G maybe? Is the Temple of the Lost available from the start, or is it something you have to research or quest for?
No, it's available from the start. So you got that kind of Pacific conversion, you can have it very quickly.
Someone is asking about the political alignments of the Nekalim. I believe they're religious/military.
They are religious and ecologist.
Ecologist. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't show with their face, but they kind of care for trees a tiny bit.
Okay. I mean, trees and food and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
So, good question. What are the strong points for the Nekalim? Like, maybe can you expand a bit on how, as a rookie Nekalim player, I would want to expand and make sure I can tackle the challenge of making sure I don't get left behind.
Okay, so basically what you want to do whenever you play with the Nekalim is you really want to use the advantages you get at the early game to just get as much distance between you and the other faction. You are starting with a tiny bit of a head start. You want to keep that as long as you can. After that, they have a very strong fleet, so that and the ability to convert make them really strong for Conquest victory and Supremacy victories.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to go for those, mostly. But we've seen people internally who actually managed science victories because they were so good at hunting the relics everywhere that they found themselves in a science victory.
Was it J. Hal?
I'm not sure. It might be him.
Yeah, no, he would probably be like a Conquest victor or something. That wouldn't sound like him, but someone's asking when are the Harmony coming back as a major empire, and I'm afraid to say I have to say that they're probably not gonna come back. But we've made sure to have all of the major factions from Endless Space 1 in some form or the other in the game, with the exception of the automatons. My heart bleeds for them because they're really cool looking, but we're not really vibing with the whole the whole direction we're going for in Endless Space 2.
And of course, being a community created faction, there would have been a whole legal can of worms, probably.
I'm honestly not sure about this, but yeah, it's always easier to start on a fresh base, and you also have the Pulsos, which are like the distant cousins of the Harmony. Let's say the Harmony that didn't take a dark dust-hating turn. They're there if you want them. What happens when you lose your Academy special ship? Can you build it all over, or is it gone forever?
Whenever if you lose your Academy special ship, it's lost for you until the next request.
Okay.
So someone will be able to get it back, just not you.
Okay, they'll just go and pick it up somewhere and just rebuild it slowly.
Yeah,
but,
pretty much.
Not necessarily you.
The Academy is going to use the request time to go and pick up the pieces and do something for the next one.
Someone has an interesting analogy saying that Nekalim are the bully that gets beat up by the main character after he learns karate. And that could be that. Yeah, they're basically, the in-game boss.
There's a bit of that, yeah.
Okay, can you show the other non-Nekalim starting hero?
One is a remnant, what is the other? The other one is...
I don't have the art.
Oh,
man.
well,
Yeah.
he's with a new manufacturation, isn't it?
No,
it-
Celtic Man.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. So the Celtic Ma are the ones that... Crap, no, that's the Goblins. I have a...
The Celtic Ma. The Celtic Ma are the desert dino riders.
Yes, exactly.
And the reason that the other hero is a Celtic Ma was that the vote was so close.
We ended up doing both.
We ended up doing both.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you may not know, but sometimes you make that kind of decisions, So if you want to game the system and force us to make more content, now you have to make all the votes 50-50. That's the law.
Please,
Is this the
please
final
don't.
ES2 expansion? Well, as we've said, like I think it's been 3 times already. How much we will carry on supporting the game because it's come out already like 2 years ago. Will depend on how much you guys are willing to show us that you're willing to support the game yourself. So make sure that you tell all your friends to buy the expansion and that you buy it yourselves as well and that you leave good reviews, and this will definitely entice us to look at carry on doing stuff. We haven't announced further content for ES2 as of now, but as usual, showing us that you care and that you care enough to carry on supporting us will definitely influence whatever decision we end up making. Which also ties into how many new major factions can we expect. See above. All right. We're going to be taking a couple more questions and then we're going to be wrapping up. So it's almost 6, and I'm pretty sure I've got a couple more tweets to push out today. Right. Well, Athbatic can have another balance patch now. Well, probably not, because that was the balance patch for this expansion was the thing we were discussing earlier. We just pushed out the balance patch early. So if we end up doing another one, that would probably be sometime in the future. If we carry on development on ES2, which again is contingent on how much you guys support this expansion. Well, the Volters, Hisho, and UC get the paint job. So one of the reasons we never released skins for the other the DLC factions was that we wanted to make sure that everyone could enjoy having skins for their factions without having any of those behind the paywall, which is why it's always been basic factions only. I'm not sure we would want to release something that would be optional content for a faction that is behind the paywall itself, because that makes it sound a bit unfair for you guys. That makes it sound like if you want that extra piece of cool content, then you'd have to pay for it in the first place, after having paid for the faction in the first place, which would be kind of like, that wouldn't sound like great business practice, so I don't think that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Will we get a comic for the Neckalim? Actually, that's something I've been wanting to talk about a bit, but I forgot. We're actually, currently discussing and researching the story of the Neckalim with Jeff and Steve, or writers, that's we have a lot of really cool story points that we've been talking about. So if you guys have something really, really cool that you'd like us to talk about in the story of the Neckalim, or whether it's something from the past or a new challenge they face, rising from the almost literal dead, do let us know. We're open to ideas, and the goal for us is to release the comic in a few months. So we're counting on you if you have something. But yes, the answer to that question is we definitely have a comic coming.
Does the Academy fleet get unique model style? They are using the Heretic skin for the Vodiani fleet. Nice.
So they're a Vodiani, but cooler looking. Yeah. Right. Any changes to the diplomacy or to the alliances, like kicking no?
Nope.
No changes to diplomacy or existing game systems. In this, there was just the balance changes we've discussed. If you've joined the stream during a pathway through and missed the start, as soon as this ends, we'll be putting up the VOD, so you can go and rewatch it to see what you may have missed. Is the Neckalim fusion between the Necro and the Nephilim? I'm not sure if this is a Warhammer 40k reference.
No, Nephilim is an actual order of angels in a certain set of cosmology.
Okay. Well, there is the Necromonger in it. That I'm pretty sure of. As for the Nephilim, I have no idea.
What are the Neckalim heroes like? Are they more like science-oriented, food-oriented? Right. Not science-oriented, I guess.
They're not much about science, no. Basically, they make for decent governor and they make for strong explorer, because you're gonna need those relics, and so all of them are pretty much focused on that.
Okay. What do you think about an extended endgame after the Academy quest? Well, the thing is, the Academy quest is supposed to be the big endgame accelerator, and after this, the game should be, for whoever has won the Academy quest, about to wrap up, because the bonuses they get are so good that they should really speed you up along the way. So if we were to gate some content until after the completion of that point, that would mean that we're creating stuff that essentially you're not going to see in most of your games. So that would be kind of a bad idea for that reason. So no. But I'm guessing this is going to be the final question. Will the Nekalim have the option to side with the side destroying the Lost?
I'm trying to not spoil anything.
Okay, well, that's a spoiler. Sorry, guys. So yeah, that will be our last question. Our last question will end on this non-answer, which is basically, sorry, you wanna get the story, you gotta pay for the ride. Can the Academy system be conquered? Yes. Is there any special thing rewarding that?
You get the same reward as you would otherwise, plus a system with population on it. Knowing that the Academy is going to have a system populated with a lot of very different, population on it. None of those that would actively destroy the system. So do not expect to have a craver on the Academy system.
Mm-hmm. And someone's asking, will it be possible to play the Academy itself?
No,
they're basically like a super minor, but they're not a playable major faction. They just become a major galactic player, a major galactic NPC. Right, so that's going to be wrapping it a wrap for us. I just wanted to remind you guys that so the pre-order is live. It's currently 10% off until the date releases, which is next week. So if at any point during the week you want to save 10%, or if you're already going to get it because you love us so much, well, now's a good time as any to just pick it up and again tell your friends to get it as well, or just buy it for your friend. Why not, if you're feeling generous or you have the means. And that's pretty much it for now. We have some more stuff for the week, and of course for those of you who learned about us from Humankind, we're going to have some more stuff about Humankind in the coming weeks as well, in the coming months. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and I feel like real YouTuber and professional internet full-time streamer want to say that. But check us out on social networks and follow us on there, and we'll see you guys very soon. Otherwise, we're always reachable on all socials or on the Games Together. We also have a community Discord where we are sadly way too active for our own good, and we're really eager to know what you guys make of this and your thoughts on anything. And again, if you have cool ideas about the Nekalim comics, we want to hear it. Right, that's it for me. That was Shell, Frog Squadron, Cats in the wings. We're gonna see you guys next time, and we wish you a good evening. Thanks for tuning and see you.
Bye.
I look out and see the glory and power of the Nekalim Empire. Our trade routes bring the wealth of worlds to our doorstep. And our military maintains the peace. Now, the messengers of our gods awaken my people from their sleep, calling upon our strength. Prophecy said our time would come. I say, muster the fleets, for that time